Hello and welcome to Powered by Authenticity. Happy December. Producer Ken, happy December.
Happy December.
All right. So as we did in November, this December, we are kicking off the month by kind of talking about what we're going to be doing this month. So the way that I'm frameworking, both personally and professionally, not only this month, but because of the time of year, December, also thinking about and planning for 2024. So what are some of those goals and things that I want to accomplish both personally and professionally, and kind of frameworking what that looks like. Before we get started, though, I wanted to go back and just revisit our November is for Networking. When we had that show, I really put together an action plan of ways that I could go out and network, ways that you could go out, just thoughts of being able to expand yourself and your business, your opportunities, both personally and professionally. So I wanted to just share with you what I actually did as part of that action plan to get myself out there a little bit more. So not only did we have amazing guests on this podcast, we had Laura Klossner, a great attorney in Florida, who's also somebody who I went to school with. But we just had so many great shows, and we celebrated or made awareness to White Ribbon Day and had Becca on to talk about domestic violence and ways and where to go for help and support. So from a podcast perspective, just looking at the many people that we had on the show and the amount of information that we shared was just phenomenal. And then I personally went out and I attended a networking event solo. So I sit on the board of directors for the Women in Tech Network in Buffalo. Went out, attended a solo event. It was our Christmas party. I brought dessert and really got an opportunity to talk with women who I don't get to see very often, if at all. Met a lot of new people and really just put myself out there to be able to build new relationships. And I think those will affect me both personally and professionally. The women there are fantastic. The people that I met are phenomenal, great business and community leaders. So I think that'll really resonate both personally and professionally. I was able to talk with an old client, so somebody I hadn't spoken with in probably about 2 years, but did a reach out, talked with him. I think that's going to help to expand my business long term. And it lent to catching up and hearing about what he's doing, what's new in the healthcare IT space, and just the opportunity to catch up was something that really, really I took to heart. The other thing I did as part of WIT is I put myself out there saying, we do a lot in Buffalo, but what about my local community here in Batavia, New York, and even in Rochester? There's no chapters, so there are not a lot of local events that we can make a difference to both my community here in Batavia, but also to the Rochester area. I've offered to sponsor an event in 2024. It took a lot for me to be able to suggest that. There's been, I think, a little bit of question about the reach that we want to take with the local chapter, and it was a great opportunity. We're going to do it. It means a lot to be able to look at forward in 2024 to be able to bring something to the local community. So just kind of wrapping up, I put out there in early November what I was going to do to make networking a really fun part of my November, and I did, and it was a lot of fun. And I think it's great for us to take a minute and kind of reflect on those accomplishments. So let's talk about December. I think December should be for community. Your community, both from a personal perspective and a professional perspective. I know for me, it's taking part in community events. Last night, we had a great event at my church. My husband and I served soup and cookies, and we just went back tonight to freeze a bench so that we had them for respite care, and just really soaked it in. So left the office an hour early and went and was able to make an impact in the community. And I just think that's part of really what we should be doing and reflecting upon as we start to get into a new year and this busy season around the holidays. It means a lot to be able to slow the pace from time to time to make an impact in the community which again will help to expand you both personally and professionally. So as I look at the remainder of 2023 and what I plan to be focused on outside of those fun community events and probably some family time, producer Ken, we've got a concert next week, a dinner. We have an igloo dinner. We have a lot of things coming up where we'll be just spending a lot of family time together, which will be very nice. Looking forward to that. But what I'm also going to do from a personal perspective is look at what I want to accomplish for 2024 and what I want to look at. One of those things is going to be sitting down and looking at my race schedule. So what races do I want to do? I know I already have the Toronto Half Marathon scheduled. That's in May, I believe. And really look at what else I want to accomplish just from a running perspective. I know that there's also a sprint triathlon in July that I want to participate in. And despite what my husband thinks, I cannot use my pink mountain bike. So yes, Hubster thinks that using a pink mountain bike is going to accomplish that. It's not. So I do need to set an intention on the amount of money to spend, the right tools. So really framework what I want to achieve personally from a racing perspective. That's definitely a goal that I have. The other thing I want to do is look at ways that I can support the community. So additional activities possibly at the church, local tech network. So ways to go into the school systems to talk about tech. What are some of the opportunities we have? I know we spoke with Becca Phelps about can we go in and talk to middle schoolers about violence against women and starting to educate. Those are really things personally that I want to invest my time in December to framework what that looks like so that I can achieve those items in 2024. So Ken, I'm going to ask you, what are things that you're looking at in December from a personal perspective?
Well, you go into the race calendar there. That's something I'm starting to seriously look at. Doing that same Toronto run, but doing the full marathon there. Already registered for a half Ironman for the next year. So looking into potentially doing an ultra in there as well. Those are really things that I'm starting to think about more because there's a full weekend dedication time aspect to that you don't necessarily have some of the other things you get done. And the closest one I'm thinking about is in March. So really need to start cracking down on that one.
Yeah, I've got a 5K in March that I'm doing in Hamilton at the waterfront in Canada and doing that with a friend. And I'm really looking forward to getting out there at that one.
There you go.
Yep.
Syracuse Half is also right at the end of March this year. They bumped it earlier.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Well, then that takes training starting January 1.
Starting now.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, that also takes financial commitment. So it's sitting down. And, a lot of the races also have an impact to community. I know I'm doing a race that's coming up Sunday, and a lot of the race funds go to food bank. So it's really a great opportunity to be able to help the community all at the same time, which is really good. So professionally, just kind of thinking about what I want to do from a professional perspective. I've kind of got it categorized in a couple of different ways. One is obviously the podcast. So growing powered by authenticity in many different ways. In December, we have some phenomenal guests who are coming up. We have a leader in the networking industry. So her focus is truly on helping women become empowered and go out there and grow their brand, grow themselves. We have a leader within the space of environmental. So I know we actually had to move her podcast recording by just a couple of days because she has a meeting with the senator about making a difference to really the environment and some ideas that she has. So I'm excited about that. So really a lot of great guests coming up in December, which will help to framework the growth that we want to take the podcast within in January. So Powered by Authenticity, I just see growing and expanding, looking at ways to expand our reach. I'm happy to say that right now we're in 4 different countries. We have listenership. The right word there. We have a lot of subscribers. How about that? Across 4 different countries. So that actually really warms my heart a lot. And then from a PBA consulting and my own consulting business, how do I grow that? Where do I grow that? Is that growth through continuously just being a billable resource? Is it hiring in additional admin support and technical subject matter experts to help grow within the technical space? So sitting down and looking at what are the opportunities that I have right now, and that will allow me to grow from a technical perspective and will allow us just some really wonderful ways to expand, looking at different ways to partner with tech leads in the industry. So places like Microsoft, Google, there's great partnership opportunities. There's also a lot of opportunities from a women empowerment perspective and being able to go into those large tech organizations and talk about the lack of equity and inclusion. So a lot of opportunity there. And then I've also had recently chances to do public speaking events. And those are just something that I love. The last event that I did was just this past week, where I spoke at Microsoft Engage and really gave a viewpoint into what it takes to lead with empowered authenticity, why it's important, and how to make sure that teams across all verticals are empowered to be themselves in a leadership role, which I think is just important. So also looking for those opportunities to grow and expand. And then finally, what are some fun networking events that I could go join and look at? And I know in December, we're going to have probably another WIT networking event, which is great. I know here in Genesee County, there are some Chamber of Commerce events that are coming up. So just places where I could go and, again, go solo and be able to grow those relationships, both from a client perspective as well as just personally. So I would encourage you to take December to not only take it slow, enjoy family, but also look at how you can framework 2024 now, so that come January 1st, you've already taken great steps in being able to accomplish those goals that you may have. So I want to thank you for going through the November for networking opportunities and achievements and ways that I used November to grow myself and my organization. And look to December to focus on community and the way that that can impact both yourself and your professional career. So with that, Ken, thank you for being here today.
You got it.
And do know as we go into the holiday season, we're very appreciative to every listener that we have. This brings me great joy to come on the show, and this hour that we have our podcast every week is one of my most joyful times throughout the week. So I really appreciate each and every one of you for listening. I encourage you to get out there in your communities, make a difference for yourself, make a difference personally, professionally to those around you as well. Thank you for listening.